How's it going, everybody? Daner here with North Central Coins, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the most rare and valuable coins in Canada. Today we're going to be discussing a Holy Grail Canadian large cent that can be worth some insane amounts of money. Canadian large pennies, or cents, were minted from the year 1858 until the year 1920, and even though you might not come across them every day, there is a good chance there might be a few of these sitting around in your grandparents' attic or change jar, and you might eventually come across them in your numismatic pursuits. In this video, we will explore the historical context surrounding the production of these rare and valuable Canadian 1-cent coins and delve into why they hold such incredible importance in numismatic history. Additionally, we will discuss any distinguishing and identifying features, their significance among collectors, and also the potential value if you happen to own or find a legitimate example. Before I do get into this, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new videos as they are being released. And make sure to stay to the end of the video if you'd like to find out how much you could actually get for these coins if you happen to own or find one. And then without any further ado, what do you say we get right into it and discuss the 1858 Canadian large cents and coin alignment? Let's get it, guys. The penny, or 1 cent, a coin no longer produced for circulation in Canada, held a value of 1 cent or 1/100th of a dollar and was minted from the years 1858 until 2012. Despite its official term as the 1 cent piece, the commonly used terms were penny and cent. This adoption was likely due to Canada's previous use of the British monetary system before the year 1858. Mass production of the Canadian penny ceased in May 2012, with distribution halting in February 2013, though it remains legal tender. After its discontinuation for general circulation, vendors weren't obliged to return pennies as change, leading to the rounding of purchases to the nearest 5 cents. However, goods can still be priced in 1 cent increments, allowing for exact payments in non-cash transactions like credit cards. It is important to note that while pennies ceased production for general circulation in 2012, they continue to be minted annually for special collector sets. These sets cater to numismatists and collectors who value the historical and artistic significance of the 1 cent coin. Canadian pennies have featured various designs over time, with Queen Elizabeth II depicted on the obverse since the year 1953. A notable reverse design in the year 1967 commemorated Canada's centennial with a depiction of a rock dove, a departure from the usual maple leaf motif. Most pennies have a round, smooth edge, but those minted from 1982 to 1996 were 12-sided to aid the visually impaired. The coin reverted back to a round shape in the year 1997 due to production challenges. The first Canadian cent was minted in 1858, which aimed to stabilize Canada's monetary system, which had relied on various currencies. Initially larger, these coins were later reduced to the size of the modern or American 1 cent coins in 1920. Now, the 1858 Canadian large penny struck in coin alignment presents a fascinating deviation from the more common metal alignment version. This particular coin stands out not only for its incredible rarity, but also for the intriguing questions that it raises about the minting process and the reasons behind such a distinctive die axis. Now, the 1858 Canadian penny should have a diameter of approximately 1 inch or 25.4 millimeters. The obverse side features the bust of Queen Victoria wearing a laurel wreath in her hair with a beaded circle. The reverse side typically displays a serpentine motif of 16 maple leaves within a beaded circle. The coin's alignment refers to the orientation of the obverse and reverse dies when the coin was being struck. In metal alignment, both the obverse and reverse dies are oriented in the same direction, resulting in the images on both sides of the coin being upright when the coin is flipped. This is the standard for most Canadian, British, and Australian coins. Now, on the other hand, there is coin alignment, wherein the reverse die is rotated 180 degrees relative to the obverse die, causing the reverse image to be upside down when the coin is flipped. This is typical of American coinage. The reason behind the coin alignment version of this 1858 large penny could be multifaceted. One possibility is that it could be an early strike or pattern coin that was produced during the experimentation phase of the minting process. Mint officials may have been testing different die orientations to assess their impact on the striking process, coin quality, or efficiency. Another reason could be to differentiate these coins from the more common issues that were struck in metal alignment. If any of these 1858 pennies were struck very early or late into the year, they may have used a different die access to differentiate them. Some of the other reasons there could be variations in die alignment could be attributed to inconsistencies or changes in the minting machinery, adjustments in production techniques, or even errors during the minting process. These factors, combined with the limited technology and quality control measures of the time, may have contributed to the occasional production of coins with different die orientations. Now, some of the details and specifications for the 1858 Canadian pennies, if any of these are off, it may indicate that it is not an authentic example. Online auction sites like Temu, AliExpress, and eBay are absolutely littered with counterfeit examples of Canadian coins, and this is one that could very well probably be found on there, so you definitely want to do your due diligence and make sure that all of these specifications are bang on to make sure that you have a legit example if you want to get a second opinion. Now, the overall mintage for the 1858 Canadian penny in metal alignment is 421,000, so it still has a relatively low mintage figure. It should have a composition of 95% copper, 4% tin, and 1% zinc. Its weight should be 4.54 grams. It should have a diameter of 25.4 millimeters. The edge of the coin should be plain, and the standard issue is struck in metal alignment, but the rare variety that you are looking for is the coin alignment version, which means that the obverse and reverse will be rotated 180 degrees. Now, the designer for the obverse and reverse of the coin was Leonard Charles Wyon. Now, before we do get into the values for the 1858 Canadian large cent in coin alignment, I just wanted to mention that there are a few errors that you can look for on the standard metal alignment version of the 1858 large pennies, which gravitate around the stems and maple leaves on the reverse side of the coin. There is also a doubled 5 variety in the date 1858. I'm not going to go too in depth about those varieties today. Those will be saved for a separate video, but just because your 1858 penny isn't in coin alignment doesn't necessarily mean you can't make any decent money off of it if you have any of those errors or varieties. So make sure to stay tuned for the future videos where I will be covering those. But in terms of the value for the 1858 Canadian large cent struck in coin alignment, it is the most rare and desirable of them all, and it doesn't require much inspection beyond making sure that the obverse and reverse are rotated 180 degrees from each other, similar to how American coins are struck. Now, the great thing about this 1858 penny struck in coin alignment is it holds some pretty incredible value even on the low end. So if you are able to pick up some Canadian large cents in a bulk purchase, maybe on eBay or at your local coin shop, this is definitely one that you can cherry pick out and make a really good profit off of. Now, just to give you guys an idea, on the absolute very bottom of the Sheldon scale, for the most beat up and worn example, a regular issue of the 1858 struck in metal alignment can be worth around $30. So it is still fairly rare and can still have a pretty decent premium. With that low mintage figure of 421,000, it is pretty desirable. But if you can identify the coin alignment issue of this coin, it can be worth $400. Even if it is beat up, worn, and been put through the meat grinder, you can make some really big money off of this. Now, as we start to increase up in the grading tiers, the regular issue of the 1858 can be worth around $325 for an AU50, but the 1858 in coin alignment can be worth up to $7,500 for an AU50. So that isn't even the highest graded known example. We're starting to push the MS range, but not quite there. So your chances of being able to find an older coin that hits the MS range is not the best, but maybe if the coin gods shine kindly upon you and you are somehow able to find an uncirculated roll or bank bag of these, you could maybe find some that score in the MS range and they would be worth the buku amounts of money. Now, there currently aren't any graded examples of the 1858 in coin alignment that are in the MS range, but if you were able to find one, I don't doubt that you could easily get around $100,000, especially if it hits around the MS64, MS65 mark. It isn't too common that you will find older Canadian large cents that will hit in the MS range, but never say never. I have seen a few nice examples of some of the older Victorian large cents, and even if it isn't in great shape, you can still make $400 if it is the most beat up and worn example of the 1858 Canadian large cent in coin alignment. Now, what do you guys think about this coin? What would you do if you ever found a legitimate example, or if you ever have found any of the coins that I discussed in this video? Please let me know down in the comments. I would love to know. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So until the next one, everybody, peace out and have a good one, y'all.